Hi, join me, Surajat Marber on ITV every Thursday night, 8 to 9 on IeSports Digest, a comprehensive roundup of all sports, local, regional, and international. We will reach out to our villages and our communities in all areas of Trinidad and Tobago to highlight their sporting activities. I'll also invite prominent guests to share their views and address current issues facing sports, focusing on realistic solutions. Join me on ITV.
IeSports Digest, Thursdays at 8 p.m. right here on IETV.
Hi, good night, viewers, and welcome once more to IETV Sports Digest. We look forward this week to a very entertaining and engaging program once more. We have some exciting guests lined up, different aspects of sports, both cricket. But before we go there, just a brief review of what has been happening in the sporting world. Starting at home, we saw the US team, the ladies under 19 United States of America team, winning the CWI Women's Under 19 tournament. What a significant achievement for a US team new to cricket, as compared to our regional squads who have been around for so long. Our Trinidad and Tobago girls made it to the final, and all of us were hoping that they would be champions. Unfortunately, they came second, losing in the final by 7 wickets to the US. Later in this program, we will chat some more of this, as we expect here with us on Zoom, Mr. Keshava Ramphal, who was the analyst for the US team and assistant coach in this tournament. Also, we saw West Indies, after winning the Test series and the one-day, struggling once more in the one-day 50-over format, losing both games to Bangladesh in very humiliating manner, something that we severely need to address in West Indies cricket, the 50-over format, the one-day game, exactly what is going wrong, what needs to be done, what we need to do to get our West Indies, our CWI team into winning ways. I think that's the 10th consecutive loss to Bangladesh. And the manner of defeat was very humiliating. Some of the shots played were beyond imagination. And I must dare say the captain, Nicholas Puran, led the way to a reverse sweep in the very first ball that he faced. We really need some serious discussion, CWI that is, with their players and coaches on that team. We also saw today that England, after being humiliated in the first game, largely to Bumrah's haul, bouncing back and defeating India by 100 runs in the second one day to level that series 1-1 and head into an exciting climax on Sunday. I'm sure many spectators around the world will be looking forward to that, and especially as England's new skipper, Butler, has not gotten off as yet, and we all know what he can do when he cuts loose. So that will be exciting. In local football, the Ascension tournament continues here locally every week, and in the lead right now is La Horta Rangers with Defence Force in second and Police in third. Join Ascension, join the TTFA every week as they seek to promote the sport, and it's in the community, it's all around. You can go in, have a look, enjoy a game on an afternoon. Some bad news though, as some of us probably know, some of them don't, that Trinidad and Tobago women's football team once more had a very bad tournament in the CONCACAF World Championship playoff. They were defeated by Canada 6-0, Costa Rica 4-0, and then Panama 1-0 to be booted out of that tournament. And therefore there goes another World Cup hope. It's something that the TTFA needs to look seriously into. There were some disconcerting reports coming out of that tournament and made by the coach himself that you all can follow in terms of player discipline and attitude, which was very damning to the sport, but something that we hope will be looked at seriously so that we may move forward with women's football. But the TTFA continued to be mirrored in controversy, and we wonder when it's going to end. And it's something that I need, and I think we in Trinidad and Tobago need to look at, and probably look going forward to get some of the people involved in TTF on this program to look at what went wrong and from the John Williams era, may his soul rest in peace, and what Mr. William Wallace, and now to the management committee. Because following up on that woman's defeat, we saw only yesterday in the news that the TTFA, very late, seeking money to send their national under 15 girls and national under 14 boys on tournaments away. These dates were known since last year, and Sport TT is saying, you are late, we don't have any money. How can we send you anyway? You should have sent in that budget a long time. Be that as it may, the Minister of Sports is trying, as far as I know, to assist and probably see if she can get some funding, Ms. Ramphal, so that team can leave our shores and participate. Because tours, as we know, and playing abroad and having opportunities to play against foreign teams, whether locally or abroad, helps to develop our players and make us more competitive on the international scale. So let's hope that the TTFA will find some funding so that our young girls under 15 and boys under 14 national football teams can get a chance to play in these two tournaments. The Wimbledon has come and gone, and once more, Mr. Novak Djokovic has dominated, winning his 7th Wimbledon title and 21st Grand Slam. What a player. After all the COVID controversy with Australia, being there, fighting a case, being asked to leave, not getting the contest, that has cleared up, and he's back in focus. And it's something we need to learn as sportsmen. There are going to be times when we are going to be out, when we may have issues, but we put it behind us. And if we are professional enough, as Djokovic has shown, you go out and you show what you can do on the field of play, which he has done, to once more walk out with another Wimbledon title. And in the women's final, also very competitive, completed, Elena Rybakina defeated Ons Jabeur 3-6, 6-2, 6-2. So the Wimbledon is completed. As I mentioned last week, the Tour de France is in progress, and I urge you to, I don't know how many of you actually went on and looked at this wonderful spectacle, this Tour de France, because cycling is a fantastic sport, and the Tour de France is one of the more exciting ones I mentioned last week. The scenery, the competitiveness. Some of you may remember the accident from last time around, a couple of years ago, when a number of cyclists collided with each other because of one spectator getting in the way. The current leader is Jonas Vingegaard, and last week's leader, Tadej Pogacar, is second on the table. We also saw another fantastic performance in the past week by Nicholas Paul, one of our local cyclists who continues to make us proud on the international circle, cupping up some more gold medals, this time in the men's sprint and carrying gold at the TISOT International Cycling Union Track Nations Cup, which was held in Colombia. So he continues to make us proud, and we have a number of other young cyclists. That's something we need to look at too in this program coming up. Cycling, because we have a number of young cyclists who are making it big and making us proud, both men and women. And our young rugby players, the Trinidad and Tobago National Under-19 men team, is off to Jamaica to compete in the Rugby American North American tournament. And let's wish them all the best as that tournament gets going. So that's a short roundup there. As we expand the program, we'll move into some more details of different aspects of sports, expand it, bring in different aspects that we can discuss, keep you more updated on what's happening. As you know, you probably know as well, the Trinidad and Tobago Lawn Tennis Association has a big tournament coming up next week. It's something you can look forward to. I'm sure attendance is free. So for those tennis fans, lawn tennis fans, you can go out and support the Lawn Tennis Association, that tournament coming up soon. I know we have lots of international football followers in Trinidad and Tobago, and the news these days are what's on the transfer market. Manchester United shockingly defeated Liverpool, I think it is, 4-0 last week in a practice game. Thumbs up to Manchester. a number of transfers. Raheem Sterling moving, a lot of movements in the English Premier League, also in the Spanish and French League. A lot to keep up with. As I said last week, during COVID, we used to wonder what to do with the remote. You fiddle it, you throw it down, you put it away. You go back in times, you look at highlights, you are current for news all over the world. Now, as you flip the channels, a lot of sports are back, spectators are back. Even in Trinidad and Tobago, as we know from Monday, masks are not mandatory anymore. It's optional in a number of places except for health facilities. We still need to be careful. But what is good for us is that sports is opening up, and we expect to see more and more. Coming up in Trinidad, following the women's under-19, which completed yesterday, will be the CWI Regional Under-17 Boys Tournament, and that's get going next week soon. So it's something that you can look forward to go and support our local Trinidad and Tobago National Under-17 cricket team in games that will be held at Brian Lara Stadium, the National Cricket Center. I think for this year some are going to be held in Porge and Pinal for the first time. Very interesting, very good to support with our local cricketers. I can tell you that tournament that Trinidad and Tobago has been very successful in. I have been manager of that under-17 team for 3 years. For 2 years we were champions, and strange enough, the third year we came second by 0.1 of a point. Yes, that's right, 0.1 of a point. You may wonder, well, how did we come, how we arrived at 0.1? What happened is that fast bowlers get additional 0.1 point for every wicket that they take, in addition to the normal point system in regional cricket at the youth level. And Ghana, I think, won that year, and they got one more fast bowling point, one more fast bowling point than us. So they won the tournament, we came second. That's how the draw was. So moving on, with me tonight in the studio is Mr. Reynold Sewdass. No stranger to Trinidad and Tobago sports, no stranger to Trinidad and Tobago cricket. He has been a long-serving member of the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board, former secretary of the South Zone. He has also served in many other positions in sports. He's a former player himself, locally, long time involved in cricket management. And a couple of years ago, when night cricket was something new, and village cricket, as we know it, was suffering because people are moving away from the village and wanted to play the National League clubs, and all the top players wanted to play, he decided to delve into something new called the Guaracara T20 League. And now it's a huge success, a fantastic success. I can tell you that the final played a couple of weeks ago, there were over approximately 10,000 spectators viewing that final in a small Guaracara ground in the community of Guaracara. So he'll be here to tell us some more of that. Before we move on though, for that, let me say thanks again this week to our sponsors, Lazare and Samson Travel Service Limited. Thank you very much. As I said last week, we are proud to know that you are the very first sponsor on IeSports Digest. We are very happy to have you here. We wish you all the best, and we hope that having come on board with us, you are going to be here for a long time as we develop this show and we help you to make your business a better one. And we are able to sell you to our viewers out there to recognize that when you want to travel, call Lazare and Samson Travel Service. Let's support those who support us. So before we move on, we want to take a look at the highlight of that final, the Guaracara T20 League final. Yeah. So there we have it, and very soon we'll be chatting with Mr. Sewdass. That's some highlights of the final. If you look there, it's one of the community. Where exactly is the ground, Mr. Sewdass?
Ground at the Guaracara village, up close to Tabakit, about, I would say, 20 minutes off Gasparilla, 25 minutes from Gasparilla, okay, heading east. It's called the Guaracara Recreation Ground on the Guaracara Tabakit Road. So.
Okay. So very close by for those of you who may want to go next year and have a look. So you saw it there, you saw the crowd, and I can tell you, I've been in cricket around a long time. To have a massive crowd like that at any final, at any cricket game in Trinidad, except where West Indies playing, and sometimes when Trinidad, the Red Force team is playing, or CPL is almost non-existent. National leagues play game, our top national leagues team play games in front of 5 and 10 spectators if they are lucky to have so much. So that's fantastic. So let's say, when did this all get going?
Well, you know, in around 2012 we got lights on the ground. Okay. And then that was when government had this drive to light grounds all over the country. And I just decided, well, why can't we have a night league here? And I pitched the idea to other guys in the community, and they were like, are you crazy? I mean, there's a little bush area, and there are many houses around, you'll break people's glass, let us go with wind ball. And I was, no, I don't believe in wind ball cricket. And I decided then I will pitch the idea to my MP at the time, Dr. Sewdass and Ramphal. And we met, and I pitched the idea to him, and without hesitation he said, let's go. And he got together with contractors in the area and CPEP contractors, and they came up with the funding. Incidentally, when we started the first year, we had a night league and also a Sunday league. The night league, well, I didn't expect what happened. We got 38 teams.
Wow.
The first year. And we are using one ground, and we had catered for 75 nights of cricket. And there was no way I could fit in all those games. So I ended up using other grounds in the community. And the nice thing about that is, coming out of that, these other grounds have also started their own leagues now, a couple of years after. And the tournament, the first year, we had like, for the finals, about 6,000 people. There was traffic backed up miles on both sides because it's a country road. People were bad parking, I think, and it was fantastic. And he also sponsored the 2015 competition. And after that, you know, the regional corporation, Kova Tabakit, through the chairman, Mr. Awang, they came on board and they would sponsor the first and second prize for a couple of years. And then in 2020, just before the COVID, Guardian Group came on board to sponsor the prizes again. But of course, that season was cut short. And then we brought forward that to 2022, the same funds, and we were able to have a curtailed tournament where we went for 45 nights. And we only went with 16 teams this time because of the shorter time. And again, I was a little skeptical because of the COVID. I didn't expect the kind of crowd we had, but people were thirsty for the community cricket.
Yes, people were locked up for so long with COVID that our opportunity to get out and play, our opportunity just to view a sport, to get involved would have been fantastic.
Tell us something, I mean, you know, I've been around cricket at all different levels, and the kind of crowds we have on a normal night, which I will call Monday to Thursday, which is working nights, we have between 400 and 500 people. On a weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, we are over 1,000 to 2,000 people. We don't play on Sundays. And for the finals and semi-finals, I mean, man, it's out of this world.
And that's fantastic, not only for the cricket, but for the community as well, that you bring the community together. I'm sure you have families coming out and picnicking, having the dinner in the evening. Well, also, it's financially profitable for the community and the villagers to get involved and become,
you see, when we first started, hardly anybody in Trinidad knew about Guaracara. Now it's a household name, especially among the cricket community. And the economic side of it has blossomed as well. Because the first year, people from the community who didn't have a steady income, they came out. Remember, you're talking about 75 consecutive nights of cricket. So they came out and they would sell their pulori and their corn soup and whatever. We had 7 vendors the first year. And we did a little survey. You know, the MP and I just to get an average of what the income is without asking anybody a name or anything. And over the 75 nights, we were able to ascertain that the income profit for those 7 vendors was in the region of $150,000 in a small community like that. That has blossomed now. Now we have probably close to 20 vendors. and they are there every night, so that tells you something that they are making.
Yeah.
Right? They are making, and people will leave their home and come there for dinner.
Okay.
Because you're getting anything you want, you're getting every anything.
So things have grown to barbecue.
Yes, well, yeah. Well, I know 2 barbecue vendors that have gone full time into it because they started at the ground and they built a customer base.
Yeah.
And when you cricket finish, people are still asking for the barbecue.
Lovely.
So they put up their own tent and they are going through the whole year.
As you say, I mean, it was curtailed this year to 45 days, but if you're looking at 75 days, that's almost full-time employment for 3 months. For people.
Yeah.
And
income,
a source of income, especially post-COVID now, but even then, you know, and in a community that is not well known, you know, to find an avenue that's so close to home that you can earn an income, and as you say, probably expand on it, and that's how businesses start. They start
and as an organization, we don't ask for anything in return from them.
Fantastic.
All we ask them is to keep their space clean.
Yeah.
We don't ask for any financial returns or any rent or fee or anything to sell on the.
So there are no charges, you just come and sell.
Yeah, just come and sell, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you see how good community efforts can be. And it all started, I mean, it was a fantastic vision. It's a costly vision to have decided by the government then to put lights all over the community so that people can
remember that time there only certain venues had lights.
Yeah.
So people, it was ingrained in them that night cricket should only be played at these venues. And I decided, let's take a chance. Yeah. And the neighbors have been very cooperative. I mean, we have broken a few glass.
As I said, it's a small ground. And, and now with power hitting and it spreads. What we see in IPL and CPL, the youngsters in the village, the community players, they go out and they practice their power hitting. And therefore, when it now started, I mean, the houses were probably not under pressure. But now I'm sure that you are having some more broken windows.
Yeah, well, we have broken a few windows, but we compensate them.
Yeah, well,
and,
you have to have a special budget for that.
Well, the budget is in my pocket.
Yeah, to make sure. And then by now they would have known that, okay, we have 5 days of cricket, so I know I have a glass window there, so I'll create something that I'll just put up for those nights, you know, and then they remove it during the day.
And the unique thing about our league, we are faced by a cocoa field on one side.
Okay.
And a big river on one side, so we lose quite a lot of balls. Sometimes in one game, we might use 7 balls.
Okay.
I mean, and
that's costly.
And we bear that cost.
Yeah.
We don't ask the team, because if a team have to put money for a ball every night, you're talking about $500-600 per night. So we bear the cost. We bear that cost. Okay. So you might find in a tournament we might go through 25 boxes a ball, 30 boxes a ball, and people love it. People love it because it doesn't stop the cricket to go and look for ball, as a ball. You know.
And then through some of the villages around who windows are gotten broken are probably ones who are the vendors now.
Well, some of them.
So they are a source of income, and then you mentioned the cocoa.
But they are also supporters. They are strong supporters. They have always been since the first day. Because they are the first people who call and say, when are we starting?
Okay, great.
Yeah, because, I mean, they get something. The village comes alive.
Yeah.
The village comes alive.
I can imagine. I have to come.
And not only
I've
our
looked
village.
at some on the live stream, but I've never been there live, which is something I have to do.
Well, you should pay.
I'll enjoy that.
But you had to reach earlier for the finals. I mean, actually, it's mile of traffic.
Yeah, I could imagine, and then it's one way in, one way out.
Yeah, well, if you could come through Tabakit and come through Vancouver, that's a long bad drive too.
And then your roads probably not any best, but
but
what about parking?
Oh well, see, that's what makes our cricket unique. Our ground, the parcel of land is caters to 2 grounds.
Okay.
But right now we only use 1 ground. So 1 ground is for
free
parking.
Okay.
People will come early and set up their tent and their barbecue pits and their whatever, and they make it a picnic out of it. Cook on the site, especially for the finals. For the finals, people come from the night before and set on block spots.
Okay.
So that
they set up their shed.
Yeah. And there's a road right around the ground, and then the pavilion here. So you can cricket from 360.
And it's dry season, so you don't have to worry about rain and so on.
It's fantastic.
It's a fantastic. Kind of, like when you go to cricket in England, that's the kind of setting that you see. People come and they set up their tents, they do their barbecue, they do their whatever they do, and they line.
It's a family-friendly venue.
That's right.
It's a family
and that's what we want to see more. We want to see some more community-oriented projects like this. Now, as you mentioned, when you started, you had a lot of teams and you used additional grounds. And what happened, I guess, is that you mentioned as well that these same grounds that you are using, T20 tournaments have also sprung up.
Our brothers, they also have a T20 tournament started a few years after us.
Okay.
Gunners also, they
have
the T10, they have a win ball going on right now, tournament. Okay. So, and then we use the ground in Londonville, but I haven't been able to follow up what happened.
And that one?
Raghunanan Road, I think the ground is. The lights there wasn't so tipped up at the time, but I don't know if it has been improved.
For hardball cricket. But at least you show that what happened is because you started it and you use other communities jumped in. And I know a very popular one is the Beach T20. I was trying to get onto those people for tonight, but I was not able to. But they are also very popular.
Well, there are a lot of competitions there, but I think what makes our competition unique is that we do not allow any TDC registered players to play, even at the zonal level.
Strictly amateur.
It's strictly amateur competition. That's what makes it fantastic. We have no high-profile players, yet we could draw those kind of crowds on each night. Because people come to see cricket and they come to support their community because it's very community-based. Right? So I don't want to boast, but I think we set ourselves apart from the other leagues and the other tournaments because we keep it.
I love that.
We keep it at the amateur level.
You leave it amateur. You don't go out there and people, you know, bringing in people to play for money and take away from the sports itself, what's happened. I wouldn't go into details, but I was looking again at streaming, and I saw the beach tournament going on, and I saw this particular young cricketer batting. I immediately sent him a WhatsApp, and I told him, let me tell you something, youngster. I'm not going to call his name and so on. You are on the brink of West Indies. You have broken in. You have tournaments to play. You go beach and you get injured and you can't go. Check what's going to happen to you. Somebody's going to take your place. You are going to lose. Then you are going to lose income. Immediately replied and say, you know, okay, I hear you. I'm not going to go back and play. Sorry for that. Let's move on. You know, so sometimes we need to be careful and you know, Reynold, sometimes the people who run these tournaments and the people who have these teams, the managers, the coaches, need to be fair to these people and say, hey, yes, we have this tournament, and you may be, well, in your tournament they can't play, which is fantastic. So you may be allowed to play in this tournament, and you may want to play, but no, look at your future. This tournament is not for you. If you get injured, as I said here, what happens to you? Who takes care of you? Nobody.
Exactly.
So sometimes we need to be careful. Yes, so as we go to a break here now, we'll be back in a few minutes. Hi, join me, Surajat Marbury on ITV every Thursday night, 8 to 9 on IeSports Digest, a comprehensive roundup of all sports, local, regional and international. We will reach out to our villages and our communities in all areas of Trinidad and Tobago to highlight their sporting activities. I'll also invite prominent guests to share their views and address current issues facing sports, focusing on realistic solutions. Join me on ITV.
IeSports Digest, Thursdays at 8 p.m. right here on IETV.
Welcome back. And as we resume, we can't forget why we are here, but we cannot also forget our sponsors, Lazarian Sampson Travel Service Limited. Thank you once again. You have been fantastic. Thank you very much for being with us here on IETV. And we urge you, as we said, to support Lazarian Sampson Travel Service. Want to travel, go anywhere in the world? Call Lazarian Sampson. They are there for you every step of the way, everything taken care of. No hassle. Travel without hassle. Right, so joining us now, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't mention the greatest shock of the week, and that was the USA under-19 ladies team winning the Cricket West Indies regional tournament. I mean, as I said, we were rooting for Trinidad and Tobago, and I saw some lovely scenes there for some of the games. And I mean, and we were hoping for the best, but it wouldn't happen. And in the final played yesterday, we went down to the US by 7 wickets. Joining us now is a local coach and analyst, cricket analyst very much recognized, a level 3 local coach, cricket analyst, Mr. Keshava Ramphal. He happened to be the analyst and assistant coach for the women's under-19 team, as you all probably know. The coach of that team is a very famous, one of our icons here in the Caribbean, Mr. Chanda Paul was the coach of that team. And I guess Keshava can consider himself lucky as well to rub shoulders with Chanda Paul. First of all, Keshava, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mabia. Good night.
Good night, good night. Very nice to have you, very nice of you to come on board. How was it like working with Shiv?
It was an excellent experience. My first time working with Shiv, in a professional setup. He is, as I was just saying, he was very professional. He took over the team. He had all his plans in place. Training sessions were done and executed very, very well. So it was a great experience for me, being the analyst and assistant coach, rubbing shoulders with, as you just mentioned, a legend of the game. And for me, it was really a nice experience and going on to actually win a tournament where many would have felt that USA didn't have a chance in winning.
Very much so, very much so. I mean, US coming in here and we had the traditional playing cricket territories, and we'd have expected our teams would have been way advanced. I sure coming in, some of the teams probably saw the US as a whipping horse, that hey, that's one we could walk over, and let's look at Trinidad, let's look at Windwards, let's look at Guyana, and they totally upset the apple cart.
Yeah.
But what was the reaction to the girls? Did they sort of felt that they had a chance, that is the US girls, when they came down here, or they were really looking for the experience and hoping for the best?
I would say, these girls were together about a year now. Okay. And they have been playing together as a unit, for some time now. And earlier in the year, they took a tour to the Windward Islands and they had a series there, which was okay. And they have already qualified for the 2023 ICC Under-19 World Cup. And really and truly, they were coming to the Caribbean here, yes, looking for some playing time, looking for some experience building in a tournament like this with, traditionally, as you just mentioned, our Caribbean girls here have been playing cricket for a long time. But I think as the tournament went on, as they started to win games, as we started to win the first, second game, we started to gain momentum, and obviously the girls learned very, very fast. They adapted to the conditions down here, and they continue to play better and better. And as you realize in the finals, they did extremely well against a team, Trinidad and Tobago, that was playing very, very good.
Yeah. So as you say, they have been in preparation for, that's the US team, for about a year. I know the Trinidad and Tobago girls have also been in preparation for a little while. So both the teams made it to the final, but at the end of the day, that preparation would have helped. But as analysts, I guess some people probably hearing this for the first time that cricket actually have analysts. I know it's there now all over the world. It's a big role. Let's hear something about your role as the analyst in cricket.
Yeah, I think many people don't really understand this new role in cricket. Majority of the international teams, or all of the international teams now, would travel with an analyst. Not so much so the regional teams, not so much so the younger age groups. But I think more and more people starting to understand the importance that the cricketers and the administrators of having an analyst in your setup. My role basically is to provide all the information necessary. So in terms of, as the tournament was going on, in terms of the opposition, I would, gather data on all the batters, the bowlers, areas that they would bowl, areas to get batters out, and pass on this information together with footage from the previous games, so that we could effectively plan against each individual player. And I think it worked very, very well, because the USA girls would have adapted, they would have learned, they would have studied some of the things that were sent out, and it was visible that in the games they were trying to carry out those plans, bowl in particular areas, bat particular bowlers in certain ways, look out for example, Samara Ramnath had a bowling off break, but she had a leg break. So they were looking out for these kinds of things. So the analyst, really, the role that I played is just to provide that additional information and that guidance in terms of how we would plan to execute the game.
Okay, lovely. Out of curiosity, are you aware if Trinidad and Tobago team had an analyst?
No, Trinidad and Tobago did not have an analyst.
So the US out-taught us. They brought in a top-of-the-line coach and a hero, a man who could motivate people just by turning up on the day, Trinidad and Chandrapal. Then they brought in an analysis who could work out the opposition. As you said, you did it. You know, you looked at our players in Trinidad. I mean, it's your job, and nobody can hold anything against you. That's the way the world operate. And you analyze ours, the others, as you say. I know Samara quite well from a little girl growing up, and you were able to pass on that information. And the good part of it, from what I'm hearing, is that the girls who actually listen to you and executing on the day.
Yeah, and that's significant there. And that's something that stood out with this group of girls. They every time we had a meeting, they would not just come to the meeting and listen to the discussions in the meeting. They would walk with their notepads, they would take notes, they would draw, they would ask us, you know, some of them would stay back with me and ask other questions following up. So they were hungry for information, you know, to improve their cricket. And which is significant, and hopefully, you know, I would love to see this also happen here in the Caribbean, starting with Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the Caribbean as well.
Yeah, it's something that I've been speaking about. It's something that we need to push. We need to review exactly how we do things. You probably were aware that as president of Secondary Schools Cricket League, I started a technical analysis program. Thanks to Flo, who came on to sponsor us, and to the then Minister of Tertiary Education, who Mr. Kazim, who came on board and helped us to get OJTs to work on the program. And at secondary school, we had people doing analysis, videotaping analysis, and so on. And we have been able to move forward. It's not catching on. As you say, the US out-taught us in this one. We still going traditional, and they're moving ahead, which is where we are in West Indies cricket as a whole. And probably Kesh, they might need to tray across Ghana, fly across, and let all West Indies batsmen and bowlers listen to something that you might have to say. The only part is they might not listen, because we do the same thing over and over, and you wonder what West Indies think tank is actually doing, because if we make the same mistake, something has to be wrong. So it was wonderful that, you know, that we learning that, hey, we need to change, we need to move to first world if we want to achieve, and that if you don't, you are going to be beaten in your backyard, which is what happened.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic for the US. Anything else you want to contribute out of? I know you have a busy schedule out of the girls tournament that you feel that you can share with the viewers.
I just would like to continue to encourage, you know, girls to get involved in cricket here in not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but also in the Caribbean. It's an area that is, you know, is now growing and catching on. And, you know, I really would like that the administrators would you know, focus some attention. You know, we always focus a lot on men's cricket, you know, boys cricket, and now this is something new, and will be a yearly fixture in terms of having a regional under-19 women's tournament, and then looking forward to our World Cup. So I just would like to encourage, you know, the administration to continue to support women's and ladies cricket, and also to encourage, you know, in the school system that we continue to have programs, you know, for girls coming through, not only at the under-19 level, but we have to, as you know, we have to start much younger than that. We have to start from the under-13, under-15, under-17, and then under-19. So I would really like to see that. As I say, cricket is moving on. Is no longer just bat and ball. Skill development is also, you know, technology is so much involved in sport now, not only in cricket, but throughout in all the different sports. So I would really like that to see, you know, technology be introduced more in all sporting disciplines, and so that we could really get the best of our athletes. Let our athletes be, you know, better thinkers of the game, so that they themselves could help themselves grow rather than depend on coaches always giving instructions.
Very good, and adopt a more professional attitude, as you said the US girls did.
Yeah.
But you know, strange enough, Trinidad and Tobago is one of the more advanced islands in the world, I think, in the world, as far as girls cricket is concerned, and that I would have somebody to do a survey. But at primary school cricket, the girls begin to learn to bowl in Trinidad and Tobago. They must bowl a certain number of overs. Move on to secondary school cricket, there's a under-15 tournament where they're allowed to to throw, somebody have to bowl. Then you have an open tournament, these are win balls. Then before COVID, for the 6 years preceding COVID, secondary school has had a girls hardball tournament. As I said, it's probably one of the few places in the world that has this. Over 150 girls playing hardball cricket each year in secondary schools. And those same girls, at least three of those girls, the captain Shalini, Janaba, and Chanel, went with secondary school cricket team on a tour to Canada a couple of years ago. We actually took a girls cricket team on a tour to Canada. Rennie's boys was the captain, right? So we have been trying at secondary schools level, that is. What is needed is for the Women Association to get more on board and get their act together and run with these women that are girls cricketers that are being created and see how it goes. So hopefully, I mean, just let it be known that West Indies, that Trinidad and Tobago has won this tournament the last 2 years before COVID, I think. The last one that we won, the team that went Canada with us, at least 10 of those players were in that, if not all was in that under 19 team that won. So it's there, it needs some work, as I said. You know, things would have fallen a little bit in COVID. We need to pick it up back and get going. Thanks very much for the role you are playing, you know, you and all being how to get involved more in your school cricket and so on. Encourage the girls as you go along.
I would definitely
as well. We have a community man with us here, so.
Yes, Reynold. Good night, Reynold.
And you know, we might be looking next at the Guaracara T20 Amateur, and I want to stress that, Women's League, Reynold.
Go try something, man. Yeah.
Because CPL is having a Women's League this year.
Of course. Yeah.
And we have girls playing cricket, so if we can get more girls playing, more women playing, and we started, you might be surprised if we start next year, might get 3 or 4 teams, and just as this one grew.
But you have to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere. We know that sponsorship is a big issue, but you know, you have to start somewhere. So Keshava, thanks for joining us. It was wonderful having you. To our viewers who are looking on, you have learned, I'm sure you learned something much. Thank you for viewing as we move on, and we say thank you to Keshava, and then we come back to Reynold.
Thank you very much for having me.
Most
have a
welcome.
Good night, everybody.
I won't tell people that I coach you as a youngster, right?
you could say so.
Yeah, we go back a long way, Keshava and I wouldn't tell them that I'll give you a story, right? So Kesh's father and mom always come and support. We have some same village close by the way. He from Moyes Road, I from Clark Road. And his father mom never miss a game. Now, his father had this secret that he thought that we didn't know. So he'll go and sit down close to when we are playing to one of the benches or somewhere close to where the players are when Kesh is bowling. The secret was that when he whistles, Kesh has to bowl the googly. And the father thought we didn't know that. All right, thanks very much. All the best, Keshava.
Take care.
So, Reynold, I happen to mention sponsorship. How is Guaracara T20 in terms of sponsorship?
Well, I mean, every year we get sponsorship, but getting there, when the season finishes in May, I mean, I have to scramble for the next 6 months, writing letters, begging, meeting people, just to get the funding to run the cricket. All I am asking for is the prize money. And
what's the prize money like?
Well, every year it changes. It's the highest we have been was 30,000 first prize, 15,000 second. This year for the COVID and the shorter tournament, we carried it to 13,000 and 7 second prize. The next year we want to go back to 25 and 12, and we also want to put a 5,000 for the third and fourth playoff.
Yeah, so at least there's something for them as well.
Yeah. So as I said, I would write like 30 to 40 letters, send it out to corporate Trinidad and Tobago, and I mean, if I get one acknowledgement, I am lucky. Thank God there are little organizations in the community, little businesses that will come forward and they will sponsor. But I mean, I can't expect them to sponsor the big prizes.
Very much so. And
the big prizes, you know.
And as we go to break, the people, thank you to our viewers for looking on. We will be back shortly, but in the meantime, let's think about some sponsor we can get to help Guaracara T20 as we go on break. Hi, join me, Surajat Marbury on ITV every Thursday night, 8 to 9 on IeSports Digest, a comprehensive roundup of all sports, local, regional and international. We will reach out to our villages and our communities in all areas of Trinidad and Tobago to highlight their sporting activities. I'll also invite prominent guests to share their views and address current issues facing sports, focusing on realistic solutions. Join me on IETV.
IeSports Digest, Thursdays at 8 p.m. right here on IETV.
Welcome back, and thank you again for tuning on to IETV Sports Digest. And as we move forward, we said with IETV and the rebroadcasting and the expansion of the broadcasting schedule, we know that we're moving away from traditional areas and moving to new areas. And we said sports was already there. It's just that IETV is going back into the sports, so we can expect to see some more sports program on IETV. So remember that channel that you'll be turning on to IETV in the future to get lots more information and lots more sports in addition to what the traditional programming was. As I said earlier too, and that's, we can't have anything. We are talking sponsorship, and this program wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Lazary and Sampson Travel Service Limited. Thank you very much for being the first sponsors of the Sports Digest show on IETV. Yes, so Reynold, sponsorship, we know it's tough, and we know a lot of companies and a lot of organizations have struggled through COVID,
yes.
And it's going to be even more difficult now than it was. You were lucky in the beginning that you got the MP to support you.
Yeah,
and also that they were in government. So when you're in government, it's easier to access funds than when you're in the opposition. I think the whole of Trinidad and Tobago knows that, but that shouldn't stop a community like yours with an activity like this from being able to access some sort of government assistance. It may not totally be in monetary cash prices. That can come as you look about for a sponsor. But what about the venue itself? What happens? Is it kept properly? Do you have a lot of work? Is off season? What happens to it?
Well, the venue falls under the Tabakit Talparo Regional Corporation.
Okay.
And I mean, if I'm being honest, it's a challenge. It's really a challenge to get the ground up to start the season.
Okay.
Because when the season finishes, the ground is not maintained. Right now, the ground is waterlogged because the grass is big. It's like a pasture because there's cattle, there's goat. I mean,
but you have youngsters in the village, right? And they need to play. They need to have activity. As you say, it's a family activity.
I don't want to blame anybody because the corporation has always been helpful to me during the cricket season.
Okay.
But they need to maintain the ground
year-round,
even after cricket,
because we can still have football and community activities at the ground.
Yeah, and we need to upgrade the pavilion. And I mean, this thing has grown from nothing. And I'm not boasting, but it's the largest night minor league competition in the country. And if I want to put it wide, I could say probably the Caribbean, because there's nothing like this anywhere in the Caribbean if you go around, right? And for the kind of in a 75-day period, if you look at views, the amount of people that come there, you're looking at about 80,000 people over that period. Maybe these repeat people, but of course, you understand what I mean? And for our finals this year, we had to rent toilets.
Okay.
In a big, and I mean, we should be past that stage now. I would expect that in the first year when you didn't expect anything, but you know what's going to happen. Right? It can't be like that.
So you say that for a league that have grown when you started in 2014, substantially, and
nothing has changed.
75 days.
Nothing in the infrastructure has changed in the last 10 years since the competition started. Nothing. The infrastructure has just declined,
especially during COVID, and nothing was happening.
It has declined. It has declined. And I mean, I might get bashed for this, but you see,
well, I don't think
I don't put what I'm about to talk.
Because you need to speak out, because
these are
if
things
my memory serves me correct, that is the constituency of the chairman of the Cuba Talparo Tabakit Regional Corporation.
Yes, it is. And he does help. He does help. But the thing is, there's always the problem of funding. So I am not involved in that. I just want to see the thing up to standard. I can speak to that. He has to do what he has to do. I and our committee and the villagers want to see the thing up to standard, because it's definitely not up to standard. You can have a pavilion and you have 10,000 people come and you have one functioning toilet. I mean, we have spent our own money to do electrical and to do other stuff at the pavilion, right? Without depending on them. But the thing is, we have reached a position
I can understand
now.
for the final, you probably had to get some additional, but it should have more better facilities, more and better facilities year round and during the course of the tournament. For a final 10,000 people, you need to go a little extra. We know that. But for the daily function of the tournament, you're looking at a proper outfield, proper pitch, proper pavilion.
Oh, we have one of the best pitches in the country.
Washroom facilities, the ground prop. And what's surprising to me is that you're telling me that for a large tournament where thousands of people coming in from outside, you are not looking to help by providing better facilities, but that you are leaving it off season to go abandon when there are kids who want to come out and play, families who want to come and have a pick. If they started it during the cricket, it means that if it's kept in a proper condition, off season, the families, the community can come together and have activities and keep the family alive. And I'm looking at this as an intent of when the kids don't have anything to do, and children, when the family don't have anything to do, what happens? They turn to activities that we do not want, and that is where the indiscipline and the crime starts.
Exactly, because I wanted to start a coaching program when every year when tournaments finishes, they say I wanted to do an over 40 competition, but again, the ground deteriorates once the rain starts to fall, because it's to begin, it's below road level.
Okay.
There's a big river on the side, so it floods probably 2 or 3 times a year. So, I have to put off everything else because the condition of the ground.
With some effort, you can still get some other things going in the ground. Even despite the flooding, you may not be able to stop completely if the ground is a little low. You'd have, like right now, we have an excessive rain, it will not be playable. But at times, during the Petit Karim and later on in the year, you should be able to have some activities at the ground, especially some soccer, some football.
Unfortunately, I used to run a football league there too,
Okay.
Many years ago, Bright York played football there, Ross Latapi. Under Bertie St. Clair. We had a tournament there and we run football leagues, but the ground becomes waterlogged. Even up till January, end of January, you can't play cricket, it's waterlogged.
So there's need for some support from the regional corporation. There's also need for greater cooperation among the corporation and the central government to make sure that funding is available for activities.
If I had a say in the corporation, I would ask them to invite the sports company and the Ministry of Sports to come and look to invest in that area. Because they have done so in other grounds in the community that are not being used right now.
Well, they need to look just at the final and see the amount of people turning up and what is happening, and also the economic activity that is being created, and say we need to do something there to make this probably not just 75 days, because it can happen year round.
You would have known this year I was calling it quits.
Because
it is frustrating. I give 75 days of my life, or more to that cricket. I am there from 3 o'clock every day until midnight when the cricket finishes and make sure everything is...
And there is work before and after that.
Yeah, I put aside family for that. Then I have to go to work. And then when the cricket finishes now, I have to start begging and looking around for funds again to run the cricket for the next year.
And it's all voluntary.
Of course.
It's more like charity rather than voluntary.
Not being honest, my wife might kill me first time she might be hearing this, but I use my credit card to bring ball from all the countries, from Pakistan.
I hope his wife will hear that out.
Right? This year it would cost me $2,000 to bring the amount of balls I need. Shipping and everything. That's how expensive it has become. Right? That's just for 300 balls. Right? To run a tournament. Right? And then we give it back to the clubs for wholesale because we know how difficult it is.
For clubs
and expensive
to finance, especially as an amateur club. You're talking about community. And that's a good part, is community amateur
and people
clubs.
understand that they feel we're making $1 million. Right? The first year when Dr. Ramachan ran the cricket, we had a profit of $240.
Okay.
This year, and I'm being honest with you, just $1,550 we came out with after I ran the whole tournament.
Well, I must compliment you, because after you mentioned all the work that goes in and you are still able to come out with something, that's great.
Because we have little people in the community. And some people are not even businessmen, but they come and say, I'll give you a small trophy and I'll give it there, so that helps in the cost.
There's community support. Tell me something, and I'm sure this is going to shock viewers. For those of you who are accustomed to seeing cricket, you know about turf strip and turf wicket. You turn on in the TV now and you watch Trinidad playing, West Indies playing, England playing, you see them play on turf strip. In the Guacara T20, they don't use turf strip, at least not as yet.
We don't want one. We have a sand wicket. Well, we call it sand. We use the Guacara crush that you backfill the place with, and we refine it to powder, and we roll that pitch with a 10-ton roller. It's one of the fastest pitches in the country, if not the fastest. Your own brother Ballard came to play again, man. It's not him again. He said it's too fast for him. Yeah, it's one of the fastest pitches in the country. And when we fix that in February, and you put a 10-ton roller on it, we never have to roll it again.
And you use a
just
matting?
add water to keep it from.
So it's a sand pitch with a matting?
Yeah. It's a matting. We cover it through
So therefore,
the whole season.
Matting is a
canvas.
Is a canvas. Well, it has a canvas, a jute, right? Made out of jute, and it's placed. The sand pitch is prepared first of all, as you say. They normally use red sand to prepare. He's using gravel. I know that crushed gravel. That pitch is going to be very hard and fast.
Yeah.
Then you put the jute matting on it, and you pull it very tight, and you peg it down, and that's what you play. All cricket in Trinidad long ago started on sand pitch, first without matting, then with matting. It's one of the truest. If you get a good true pitch, as Mr. Reynold is saying here, it's one of the best pitches to play cricket on. It's also quick.
Yeah,
if you have a fast bowler, they are going to wake you up. You definitely need to know how to bat fast bowling. And I'll tell you something, you should get Trinidad and West Indies players down there and let them learn to bat some fast bowling.
I would tell you something. The first year of the tournament, I invited the president of the cricket board, Mr. Hassan Basrat. Yeah. And when he saw the pace on the wicket, he said, we need to bring the Trinidad team here to learn to bat fast bowling. Because when to go Barbados, what happens?
Yes.
When and he mentioned that, and of course we laughed it off because it wouldn't happen.
When we travel, even locally, we can't really cope with fast bowling because we don't play any pitches. And when we travel, it's get difficult. And there's no one in the world in any cricket up to now, you look at Test cricket, who can handle true fast bowling. Up to today, I was watching the game with England, and India. Two men got struck on their helmet. It's something that we need to do. And I am an advocate for matting wickets, that cricket should still be played, especially at the youth level, and that even our senior players should be made to practice on it, so they learn they improve their footwork, they improve their reflexes, and they learn to bat proper fast ball. And by the way, if you're a good spinner, the jute market turns. You can turn the ball a mile, and you get bounced and turn.
I just rip it. At 58, I still ripping it there, man.
See, Mr. Reynold says he's still rip it. We'll go across and have a competition, he and I. Let's see who will rip it some more. So that's wonderful. As we come into a close here in terms of time. I want to thank you very much for appearing on this program.
No problem.
I want to wish you all the best, in the future. I know you already have plans for next year. When is the tournament next year?
We're starting on February 25th, and we end on May 20th, the finals.
Okay.
Pending sponsorship, of course. But I know, with God's grace,
after tonight, definitely, man, something will happen in terms of the ground facilities being prepared.
I already have 18 teams confirmed for next year. I'm taking 24th, so I have 4 groups of 6.
Is there admission fee for the teams?
Well, they will pay, this year we charge 1,500, and that cover ball fee, but for the balls, because I told you, the ground is surrounded by bush on 2 sides.
Yeah, so you need
and sometimes for a game we might use 7 balls. In one game, 7 balls.
Okay.
And we provide all those balls to the club. So all that they will provide will go back into that.
Okay.
And then, as I say, the sponsors will pay the cash prizes. We still have to buy trophies. We have to buy covers.
So you still have place for 6 teams throughout Trinidad and Tobago who are listening. We still have space for 6 teams, but you need to get there quickly.
And Martin, we have to get next year $6,000 by itself.
Yeah. And
you buy balls for $2,000 US, like $14,000, like $20,000, and you start the tournament yet. You have to put out in front. So it's a very expensive.
Well, I'll do a free ad for Mr. Nal Ramsing. Mr. Ramsing, Denida Martin next year. You and I go down, but we'll arrange something.
Well,
Ramsing Sports. Always, Nal, a wonderful person, always willing to assist, I'm sure. Always willing to assist, so we'll reach out to him. But so they are still, how do you get to the tournament? Let's give our viewers some direction. Because they are watching from all over Trinidad. Actually, some are looking from abroad. They might want to come to.
If you're coming through, you come off by Brian Lara Stadium, and you go off the highway, you come off there, and when you reach the junction, you take a right, going through Williamville Reform, and it's one straight road, straight to the ground.
So and what's the name of the ground?
Guaracara Recreation Ground.
So it's the Guaracara Recreation
on the Guaracara Tabakit Road. Yeah.
On the Guaracara Tabakit. I'm sure if you go on,
it's like 20 minutes from Brian.
Ways, on maps anywhere, you're going to find it. And next year, make space, we're going to have more than 10,000 people.
Actually, this year for the finalists, a lady from Sewdass asked me for the direction, and I had to send it for her by Google Maps. Yeah. So people from all over come and watch you cricket.
So we love our community, we love where we live, we love what is being done in our community. As I said, this program is going to focus a lot on community activities like this. I urge you all, I thank you for viewing, and I urge you next year, get involved check out the Guacara T20, check out the other 2020s in your tournament. Whatever assistance you can give, especially where young people involved, especially where communities and Mr. Reynold, men like him, are trying to help the community and get it involved in positive, meaningful, engaged in activity. Let's come out and support them, and let's make Trinidad and Tobago a better place for one and for all. Thank you for viewing, and I'll see you next week at 8 o'clock on IETV Sports Digest. Have a pleasant, wonderful night, everyone.